Hey everybody, GL1 here, and I wanted to do a show today on 6-inch Power Rangers because sometimes I buy something that's good and inspires me to do a show, and sometimes something not so good. And that's the case today because the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers White Tiger Zord, made by Super 7, which makes my Conan figures that I really like, made this dumb figure. So on the back here, you can see there's wave 1, 2, and 3, and this is part of wave 4, and this is the White Tiger Zord. And it looked pretty good in the package, and I thought it might be similar to all these ones behind me that I'm going to go over, but it's only similar in that it's about the same size. So this is expensive. This figure, I got it on sale, which made it somewhat worthwhile, but still not really. It has no lateral articulation, and in the hips and the shoulders, the head does turn some. It does have a sword that you almost need pliers to open the hand to get the sword in. And the wrists do not turn. So it's really like a 1970s toy that's really expensive, but it has nice paint on it. The original price of this is $25. I know it's a collectible, and like I often tell Mrs. GL1, that Power Ranger toys go up in value faster than anything, and it's ridiculous. So one might leave this in the package because it's a collectible, but it's not worth it to leave it in the package because it's just not that great, and I don't want to just collect packages. So anyway, it does look good on the shelf and does go with these other things. So this is 2022, and I wanted to compare that to you with something from 1996. This is the Zeo Megazord. So almost 30 years ago, this Megazord came out, and it has a ratchet, and it has arms that move, and they ratchet and lock in place. And it has knees and hips that move. So it's not great articulation, but it's more than the other one. And it has even a gimmick in the back. You have a lever, and you can have your little Power Ranger do some punching. See that? There's your Zeo. Look at that. Bam, 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 bam. Head doesn't turn. But, all right, so 27 years ago, you'd get a toy that probably cost like $6 and has more features than what you get today. All right. Now, back in 1999, the Lightspeed Rescue Megazord. Now, this one has something really unique about it I'm going to show you. But, all right, so you don't have hips, but you have swiveling legs. They swivel, and the waist swivels, and you actually have like a little finger spot here. So he can go boom, 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 and punch. And his head turns, but this is what's cool. Okay, so the arms extend out. And that's actually not the cool part. What's neat is if you look underneath at the mechanism, and get that in the picture here, there's little ropes that connect. As you push it in, you can see the ropes pulling the other part in. Do you see those sliding? And the fact that they haven't broken in 24 years is pretty cool too. Now, a lot of these things I get secondhand, so if there's an accessory or something to it, it's often missing. Whoever collects my stuff when I'm gone, because that's probably the only way they're going to get it, is for the most part not going to be missing anything. Anything that I get, I'm really good about keeping missiles and weapons. All right, so in 2002, we have the Storm Blue Megazord. And again, some features on it. So you have, all right, so you have your articulation with the shoulder and your head. And you have a sword that actually can come out. So, see that? And then push that in. So that's a cool sword. And no leg motion. But it has this. This is a button that you push down. And it turns like, I guess it shoots lasers. So, pretty cool, right? It does something. And that's why I'm so disappointed with the Super 7 one. You know, if you're going to charge a lot of money, at least give it some articulation. All right, so 2003, we have the Thunder Blue Megazord. All right, I think this one's really neat looking. I didn't know its name till now. The wrists turn, Thunder Blue. It probably had a sword or something that I'm missing. Head turns. Again, these are secondhand things. And even the ankles swivel. Like no thigh motion or knees, but you get this. You push a button in the back, and it bites. See that? I mean, just think of the fun. You go over to, you know, your sister, your dad, your mom, or whatever, and you put that on their earlobe, and you just go, hey, close your eyes, and then you do that. See, and it bites. And that would be fun. All right, and then behind that, also 2003, is the Tricera Max. So take a look at this guy, Tricera Max. And this one actually, I think the chest lights up and the arm lights up. So it looks like there's a button here, and I don't see where the batteries go on that, but there is a button, and it looks like there was something that lit up in there. Now, there is a spot for batteries. I don't have the batteries in there, and I don't have the right ones to put in there, but they're the A76, and I'm going to have to get some more. So let's see if that works again. Obviously, there was something that pegged into there, but that's gone. But you can see there's a lot of detail in the head. There's like a T-Rex leaning down that way. So I guess you could turn it around. He's got like a little T-Rex head. And then you turn around, it's got the Zord head. And then you have, some, I think an ankylosaur dinosaur there. And then the shield spins. No leg motion. But, there's a button, a way to have things light up. So I think that's really what's cool about that. It might be that when you push that button, maybe the chest lights up and this lights up. I'm not sure. All right. So that's 2003. Then we're moving to 2005, and we have the Mystic Force Megazord. And so you have the head turn. And as I've said before, I can't watch the show. It's just not interesting for me. So I don't know anything about it. The show's really, except that there's, usually 5 Power Rangers. This has almost very little articulation, almost none. I mean, you just get the shoulders that move. And, but it looks kind of cool. And it probably didn't cost very much in proportion to that $25 one. But I just like robots, so that's why I have these. And this is the Magi. And this is also 2005. And this is when we're going to start to get to some really neat articulated Megazords. So this one has great lateral hip motion, knees, and then you have a little bit of lateral shoulder motion and elbows, and even the wrists turn. I know this was missing the weapon. This was, again, something in a secondhand store. It was just in a bag. And I'm like, oh, that looks really cool, But anyway, he does look really cool. So, and it looks like there's a button here, and it looks like it had batteries or was supposed to have batteries, but you see that this is a rivet. It's not able to be unscrewed. And sometimes toy manufacturers will make something that in one country it actually it lights up and there's batteries. And in another country they're like, nah, we didn't want to put that in there. We'll sell it for less and we'll take the electronics out of it. So that could be what that is. All right, so that is 2005. And then we're going to move ahead to 2008, I believe. Yeah, all the 2008s. So the very famous Dino Megazord, right? So again, we have this great articulation. We have a removable sword. See, that slides. His wrists turn. His head turns. And not only does it turn, he can look down, he can look up. So you can really get some expressions with him. And you have the hips and the knees. And now you even have ankles that move. So this is really neat. Now, I remember when these came out, I think they were about $12.99 to $14.99. But a lot of them went on clearance, and that's when I picked them up. But they're worth it, I think. It's a really good plastic. It's kind of it's soft. It's not going to break if it falls. It doesn't get brittle. And sometimes if a piece comes off, you can pop it back on. Sometimes not on this one, but sometimes the shoulders are able to come off. But really, you can just get some good action poses. And there's another Megazord I got recently that I'm going to show you at the end, which it's in that box over. It's in a box over here. I haven't opened it, so we're going to open and take a look at that and see how it compares, because I think it does compare to these really nice articulated ones that started in 2005 with the Magi one. All right, so also 2008 is the Wild Force Megazord. So you have a swivel elbow. And his waist swivels, head turns, doesn't look up and down. You have a sword. And everywhere I saw this online, the sword was missing. So people lose the swords on this one. And I could see why. It slips out of the, I think that's a shark. Yeah, shark head in that hand. And then you have the white tiger there. And he's got knees and lateral motion. And I have a version of this where all the pieces come off, comes apart, the chest turns into the lion, and you can interchange the shoulders. So this is a shark and this is a tiger, but you can change it with different pieces. This is a bull, and it walks. It has, it uses batteries, and the legs go up and down, and it kind of rolls along and looks like it's walking. So that is something I'll show you someday. All right, and then we have Magic. Let's see, this is Magic King. And this is another one. I have the big one of this. And actually, it was, I think, the first Megazord I bought, because it was like late at night. It was Toys R Us, and I had some extra money, and this was on big clearance. I think it was like a $40 Megazord for something like $15 or $20. And I'm like, what do I have to lose? It looks kind of cool. And it's actually really cool and really valuable. So, but this is this version of it, the 6-inch version. And it has not any lateral motion in the shoulders, but you can turn up from the shoulder. And he has the head that can look all around. But if you have the original of this, the big one, it comes apart and each one turns into a dragon. And then there's a little man, the Red Ranger, that pops out of the chest, and that's interchangeable with a unicorn, a big white unicorn Megazord too, that can also become a centaur. All right, that's that guy. And then, and also the last one of 2008 is Dino Thunder, which is this one. Those Power Rangers love dinosaurs. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? So, all right, so this one, you have shoulder up and down, and you have, your arm. This is a lot like the Transformer Megatron, where it's a T-Rex, and you have the one arm that's a tail, that's a weapon, and then on the other hand, you have the T-Rex head that can bite. In this case, it's a Triceratops head, but it uses the horns, and then the back end of the head horn as a clamp, so it's like a mouth. So it's a lot like the Megatron. And these come off, and also a lot of pictures I'd seen of this. the people had lost these. So I'm really glad I didn't. And they just go right back on. And this one has that head that can look down with different expressions. So this is a real neat Megazord. And I have the original of this too, like the old one from the 90s. It's a hard plastic and snaps together. I think I actually might have shown that in my early episodes with Dr. Zordenstein. I think he showed that to you all. All right, and that was like episode 11 or 13 or 14. All right, and now we're moving to 2000. I'm going to go 2012. So 2012, we have the Retrofire Gosai Megazord. This is also a really neat Megazord. And this came, a lot of the Build-A-Zord series made this. So I think I have pretty much all the Build-A-Zords, which I have not shown yet. But this has that excellent head expression, twist in the waist, got some shoulder articulation, and these come off. I don't know why they make them come off, because it's just something people can lose. That's the only thing that's going to happen to that. It doesn't peg on anywhere else. You can't play with it in any other way. The only thing that you can achieve is losing it and being disappointed and angry forever that you lost it. All right, so you have your good hip articulation and knees, and you even have your ankles. So sometimes they just over-engineer something. There's really no reason to have that come apart. And then behind him is the Gosai Grand, 2012 also. And I have the Mega Bloks version of this. Actually, I bought, I think, 3 sets of the Mega Block versions and just made a bunch of different ones. Or no, I have the Build-A-Zord. I bought 3 sets of the Build-A-Zord ones because they were like clearance here and there. And you can do all kinds of things. But I also have the Mega Bloks one, which one day I'll do a Mega Bloks show on Power Ranger Zords, Megazords. All right, and so you can see he has all the shoulder articulation, elbow. I think his wrist turn. Got the ankles and the knees and the hips. So, this is equivalent to the kind of articulation you get now on, a $23 Marvel figure. You have the head that moves all around and actually, in some ways, some better articulation than some. Certainly easier to move. And again, it's that very good, chewy kind of plastic that's not going to get brittle on you. Probably one of those forever plastics, right? All right, and then in 2013, we have the Overdrive Megazord. And, it's all vehicles. Actually, the main torso, which I have in the Build-A-Zord series as well, is a ship, a pirate ship. So it's got that great movable head. And, again, now everything has all the ankles and the hips and the knees. So you can really put them in some exciting poses. And do these come off? No, they don't. See? Isn't that great? They don't come off. You're not going to lose them. And the swords, I believe they combine. Because they have this... wait a minute. There's something they can do. It's because they have like a pegging area for it. I don't remember. Oh, I think what he can do is he can hold it in his hands. Like, no, that's not what he can do. You know what? I don't know what that does. It doesn't look like... Oh, I see. Okay, so he can put it in his hips. So there, he can... And actually, you probably would have that one that way. And that's... All right. So, it's been a while since I've played with these, so... If you have these, sure you can see how cool they are, or how cool they are. If you don't, I'm happy to have them to show to you. All right, then Super Megaforce. This one, I think this is, this is 2013. I think this really doesn't go to this series. I think it goes to a series of Megazords that come apart and you can trade pieces, except this one I don't think you can trade pieces. And I do have 4 of those, and I didn't want to put them in this show. I did want to put this one in the show because it's a 6-inch figure. This is an exact replica of the big one, which is, I don't know, like 15, 18 inches tall, very heavy and motorized and rolls. And this one functions exactly like that one. It comes apart, and this is Megazord, form, but it turns into like a battleship. So I think, yeah, that snaps there, and then this comes off. Trying to remember how all this orients here. Something like this, and then this comes off. I think that sits like that, and then this, yeah, pegs in. Let's peg in somehow like this. Or maybe I have it backwards. I think I have it backwards. That's going to go down. There's little pegs. There we go. Okay. So now it's in like starship mode. Very simple to do, but it looks just like the original gigantic one. So there's that. So that's, I think, really cool. I love giant robots that turn into giant spaceships. All right, so that's 2013. And then we have just Gosai Megazord. And this is one of the most, from what I read, one of the most powerful Megazords. He's very, I don't know, nonchalant looking. And he doesn't do a whole lot of things, but he's supposed to be super powerful. And on the Build-A-Zord figure, which I have, these open up into 5 parts, so to represent the 5 Rangers. And then this turns into a bow, but it also can become swords. So, and that goes in there, and he's got a couple swords. So I guess anybody that has swords that turn into a bow is probably not someone you want to mess with, So just be careful out there. All right, and then we're going to go back to some dinosaurs. This is Teradino or something. Teradino. I don't know. It's whatever. It's a pterodon. I mean, it's, based on pterodactyl. And I have the Build-A-Zord of this too. So this one has, again, the great articulation. And it has his little flip-out swords that are attached to him. And they do come off, but they're not really supposed to come off. So it's not, you're not going to lose him that easily. And then he can turn his hands around. He's got like claws, bird claws. And then, so, great articulation. Got the ankles a little bit. It's got the head. And this does not, I think the jaw opens. Let's see. No, it doesn't. All right. But it's a lot like the Build-A-Zord version. Certainly looks like it. All right. And that's 2015 now. And then we have the Plesio, based on the Plesiosaurus, which you may remember as what people think the Loch Ness Monster is. So this Megazord I also have in the Build-A-Zord, which is apparently rare because it's worth like $600, which is insane because it was like $25. But there you go. Legs going all different directions. He is fun, the Build-A-Zord version, to take apart and actually add pieces to and everything. I like this sword. But there he is like that. So, all right. And then we're going to go, we missed a year. So 2014, we have Dino Charge. And he might look familiar because they sold a lot of these. I know. They made a big one. They made little ones. They made the Build-A-Zord ones. So here he is in the 6-inch action figure. So the head doesn't look down or anything, but just left and right. All right, so if you remember the head, the mouth's open and there's like a little canister that goes inside and it's supposed to charge them up. And when you push it in, it makes an action happen. Like I think on this one, what it does is it makes these frills like pop up, and that's to represent he has more power. And if I remember correctly, Toys R Us had if you went and you bought a certain thing, Toys R Us had an exclusive little canister that came with it, and I did get that. All right, so 2014. All right, now we are all caught up. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to open 2022. So this came out the same year as that Super 7 one, and this is made by Hasbro. And I have the big one of this as well. This is the Galaxy Megazord. And this is we're going to try not to have a clear window on the toy. And if you don't like it, tough, because you've already bought it. But I glanced at it, and then I said, ooh, I'm not going to open it up all the way. I'm going to wait for the show. So it comes with a sword, and it comes with like a bird drone. It's I don't know if it's, yeah, I think it's like an eagle. All right, and then we'll open them up. It comes in this paper. See, it's like an LOL doll, you know, everything all wrapped up in paper. Those LOL doll packages, some of them are incredible what you have to go through to open them. All right, so look at how big this guy is. So, all right, Galaxy Megazord. You got the head that can look up and down, left and right. Excellent shoulder articulation. You got the wrists that turn. And I remember seeing these at Walmart, and I think they were around $20. And I'm like, I'm not paying $20 for something in a box that I can't tell what it is. I got this for under $6. So I was like, well, for that, you know. So you do have some hip articulation. You don't have knees. You don't have ankles. And there he is from the back, and you can put the eagle on the back, and then he can hold his sword. The one that came out last Christmas or so, you can change the heads. It's like 5 different heads. So, all right, so you got to wedge this sword into his hand. Let's see, this one might not. No, that's pretty easy. All right, so it just goes in. It's not like the Super 7 one, which is super hard to get in. All right, so there he is. All right, so he's on a 7-inch scale, so you can see him. Well, knock everybody over. He's so big. All right, so you can see him next to the other ones. He's like 7 or 8 inches tall, maybe 7.5. Nice figure. I mean, you know, for $20, I still think it's a bit much. I think it should be probably $15. You don't have the knees, you don't have the ankles. I mean, you know, you just don't get as much as you were getting years ago. You know, we're talking 13, but we can go all the way back to 2005 with the Magi Zord. And the Magi Zord had more articulation than what you get today in either the Hasbro Galaxy or the White Tiger Super 7. And I know, you know, the company might defend itself by saying, well, it's really just a collectible. But, you know, it's really just a toy is really what it is. And it should be, I think playability matters. So this scene looks like just a bunch of colorful plastic. You can't even tell what you're looking at. But I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed getting these out for you. Thanks for watching, and take care. I'll see you soon.